the recording?
Yeah, it's recording now, sir.
Or recorded now? Okay. Okay. Have you seen the material in the whiteboard, Rian?
Yes,
Have
sir.
you seen the chapter summary? Okay. So here is the chapter summary, by the way. Okay, could you please read the first, Rian, please?
Keynesian consumption theory. Keynes conjectures MPC is between 0 and 1. APC falls as income rises. Current income is the main determinant of current consumption. Empirical studies in household data and short time series. Confirmation of Keynes conjectures. In long time series data, APC does not fall as income rises.
Okay, here is the summary of the Keynesian consumption theory, whereby in consumption theory of Keynes, he noted that the main determinant of consumption is the income. Yeah, the income here following the concept of EPC and MPC. Okay, first summary. The second one, I want to hear the voice of Rafif. Rafif, are you there, Rafif? Could you please read the second one, Rafif? And can you please show your face? Okay, please, Rafif.
Fisher's theory of intertemporal choice.
Yes.
Consumer chooses current and future consumption to maximize lifetime satisfaction, subject to an intertemporal budget constraint. Current consumption depends on lifetime income, not current income, provided consumer can borrow and save.
Okay, so the Fisher theory of intertemporal choice means that the consumer here not only depend on the existing income, but also long life income. Yeah, the entire income that he has during the life. So here, the customer is provided by borrowing and saving activities. Yeah. Okay, the third one, Brother Ilham, please. Could you please read, Brother Ilham? Modigliani's. Yeah.
Modigliani life cycle hypothesis. Income varies systematically over a lifetime. Consumer use saving and borrowing to smooth consumption. Consumption depends on income and wealth.
Okay. Modigliani life cycle hypothesis, whereby the consumption depend not only income, but also wealth. Yeah, differently with the first theory, Keynesian theory. Okay. The fourth one. Please read Brother Novel, please.
Friedman's permanent income hypothesis. Consumption depends mainly on permanent income. Consumers use saving and borrowing to smooth consumption in the face of transitory fluctuation in income.
Okay, so here in the Friedman permanent income hypothesis, the income is separated into two, permanent and transitory income. Permanent is the monthly salary, for example, and transitory means unpredictable or maybe unregular income that somebody usually get, such as a honorarium, incentive that not every month is being transferred or being given, yeah, to this person. So transitory and permanence are part and parcel to develop the Friedman permanent income hypothesis theories. The fifth, Brother Hoyle M. Please, Brother Hoyle, are you there? Could you please read the Hall's random walk hypothesis?
The Hall's random work hypothesis. First, combine PIH with rational expectation. Second, main results change in consumption are unpredictable, occur only in response to unanticipated change in expected permanent income.
Yes. So whole random walk hypothesis is mainly discussing about rational expectations. Whereby if you are to consume a good or services, you have the future expectation that the income will be rising. So somehow the people will take loans or borrowing from the banks because they expect in the future the income will be increasing. Yeah. So this is the random walk hypothesis. The last one. Last one. Brother Barik, please.
Lifeson and the pull of instant gratification. Use psychology to understand consumer behavior. The desire for instant gratification causes people to save less than they rationally know they should.
Yeah, so here is the gratifications. Yeah, the people who always count by KPK. They here they conduct gratifications that causes people to save less because they rationally know they should do. Yeah, to direct people to do what they should do. So it will interact with the psychological consumer behavior. Yeah. Okay, let me just end this session consumption and we move to the next one about investment. Yeah, I think some of you will be dealing with this kind of activities, investment. So learning objective, in this chapter you will learn leading in theories to explain each type of investment. Second one, why investment is negatively related to interest rate. And the third one, thing that saves the investment function. And the fourth one, why investment rises during booms and falls during recessions. So very interesting discussions, Ilham, yeah, and friends. Let me start with the first slide about the type of investment. So here just the general category of investment: business, residential, and inventory. Business dealing with equipment and structures of the productions. I think it's dealing with the firms, yeah. And residential investment, purchases of new housing units, yeah. So I think some of you or your parents or your families, I think dealing with this residential investment, yeah. And inventory investment, the value of the change in inventories of finished goods, material and supplies and work in progress. So it is usually dealing with intermediated goods, yeah, that storage, that have storage in the inventory of the firms. Yeah. Next one here is I think this is just the graphical illustration of the U.S. investment and its components. Yeah, business, residential, and chains in inventories. Yeah, I think in totals here you can see the red one. The business fixed investment is the biggest components. In the case of Indonesia right now here, sisters and brothers, I do sure that business fixed investment is the main contributions to the total investment in the country, yeah, compared to the residential and inventories, yeah. And the next one, and here we just talk about understanding business fixed investment, yeah. So the standard of model is business fixed investment here is neoclassical model of investment. So I think you have to understand here that the investment that deals with business fixed investment are dealing with the MPK. MPK, what is MPK? Marginal propensity of capital. Marginal propensity of capital. The additional capital that is used in order to produce additional goods or services. The additional capital that you need in order to produce one good or service. It is called MPK. Second one is interest rate. Why interest rate? because interest rate is the price of capital. Yeah. So if you deal with any capital investment or what other investment activities, you should also look at the interest rate. Yeah. To what extent the interest rate has been applied in the current economy. And the third one is tax rules affecting firms. Tax. Yeah, tax is the main burden expenses, dear sisters. If you have a parents, yeah, or you have families that deal with the investment activities, please ask them how many percentage of tax that they should bear so far. Yeah, for example, in terms of the such as us, yeah, such the employer, yeah, we are taxed in a month by taking out from the monthly income. How many percent? 15%. Yeah. So if you are foreigner, you will tax 20%. So the tax here is very large expenses, and it is the main also determinants or factors why the investors are enjoy or not, yeah, in investing in particular countries, because they look at the tax percentage. Yeah, if you put the tax very low, of course, this is the incentive for the investors to invest, and the way around, and the way around. Okay, any questions or you have any response before we continue, please? Any response, feedback, please? Okay, time goes by. There are two firms, yeah, production firm and rental firms. Production firm here is the firm that produced. They are the production house, and the second firms. So they rent the capital, yeah, to support the production firms. In this regard, rental firms can be in the form of banks. So if you remember or recall, bank is the intermediate institutions that take money and lend out money. Okay? So rental firm here could be in the form of banks, and the bank here will be connected with the production firms. So in this context, investment is the rental firms spending on the new capital goods. Yeah. So if you look at the investment, yeah, from the rental firm perspective, yeah, so basically the investment on the perspective of rental firms is the money that they lend out. The money that they lend out, the money that somebody borrow from the rental firm. This is the investment. But in the perspective of production firm, the investment is in the form of good or services produced. Yeah, good and services produced, it is in the form of investment. So you can see the difference. Yeah. Next one, sisters. And here is the capital rental rate. Yeah. So here is the rental rate or the price, and here is capital stocks. Yeah. So here supply is the demands. Yeah. So if you see how much the rental rate that will be charged, it depends on the how much capital supply and the capital demands. Such as in the bank, dear sisters. I think I can relate with the bank's activities. So for example, bank has 1,000 money, yeah, and you need 2,000 money. Yeah, you are as the entrepreneurs, you need 2,000 and the bank only has 1,000. So what happens? The supply here is less than demand. Yeah, the supply is less than demand. So if the supply less than demand, the price of the rental rate will be higher. Yeah. So the way around, if the supply is 1,000 but the demand maybe 500, so the demand is less than the supply side. So if the supply is more than the demand side, so the rental rate will be lower. Can you just take some points from my speech just now? So the rental rate here is determined by to what extent the equilibrium between capital supply and capital demand. Yeah. if the capital supply here is higher compared to the capital demand, so the rental rate will be lower. Yeah. And the way around, if the capital supply is less than the capital demand, so the rental rate will be higher. So the fluctuation of the rental rate here depends to what extent the availability of the capital supply and the availability of the capital demand. So these two components will be interacted dynamically over the time. Yeah. Here, mathematically, so the factors that can affect the rental price, the demand and supply that I mentioned just now, it depends on the Cobb-Douglas production function. Cobb-Douglas production function. Yeah. So Cobb-Douglas here basically tries to combine between the Y. The Y here is capital supply, Barik. Yeah. So Barik, Y here is the proxy of capital supply. And the capital demand here is represented by the A, K, L. Yeah, whereby the A here is technological progress. Yeah, the A here is technological progress. The K here is the capital formation, and the L here is labor. Yeah, so basically the Y, the productions, the capital supply is determined by the amount, technology, capital, and labor. Yeah, so you can just imagine and take this example into your case if you have firms, if you have business. Yeah, and here the Y here, the Y here is the RP. Yeah, equal with the MPK. Yeah, MPK means capital. MPK here is capital demand. Yeah, MPK here is capital demand. Yeah, equal with the A K L over K. Yeah, so you can just connect with this one. Yeah, so the MPK equal with the A open bracket L over K 1 over A. Don't be confused or dizzy. Yeah, it is just introduction for you. Yeah, let me just move. Okay. So if you have a firms, sisters and brothers, if you have firms, how you make a rental firms investment decisions? How you have decisions whether you will be given you'll be given money or not. So here, rental firms invest in a new capital when the benefit of doing so exceed the cost. I think you understood of this one. So you are going to invest in a new capital activities if the benefit is exceeding the cost. Yeah. So the benefit here represented by RP, marginal propensity of capital. Yeah. That the income that rental firm earn from renting the unit capital out to production firms. So if you have a banks or if you have rental firms, yeah, and you are going to give the money to another firms or to another businesses, you have to compare between the benefit and the cost. And the benefit here, if you try to detail out, is basically is the income. The benefit is the income that you will be getting, yeah, in the end of the period compared to the cost that you spent during the activities. Yeah, so you need to compare it. If positive, you can do it, but if negative, you should not do the rental capital activity. Yeah. Next one. So here, so that I mentioned just now. Yeah. So if you want to continue the rental, you want to lend the money to the other person, other firms. So you need to look at the components of the cost of capital. Yeah. So I mentioned before that the lending activities of the rental firms here is basically determined by the comparison between cost and benefit and cost. If the benefit is go beyond, you can do it. Yeah, you can lend the money. But if the cost is less than the benefit, the cost is less than the benefit is less than the cost. So it means that you are not allowed, you are not suggested to lend the money. And the cost, by the way, on this regard is separated into several components. The first is interest rate. Yeah, interest rate, the cost of the money, the cost of the money. And the second one is depreciation cost. Look like machine or cars. Every year is depreciated. The value is going diminish, reduced. And the last one is capital loss. Yeah, capital loss mean such as inflations. Yeah, so if you holding a money right now, 1,000 for example, and you keep the money in your hand for maybe 1 month, 2 months, or maybe 1 year, maybe the money that you have in your hand did not the same value compared with the beginning. If you purchase this one to the good or services, 1,000 can purchase maybe 10 candies in initial, but 1 year ahead, maybe only 5 candies. In this regard, you have capital loss. Yeah. So the total cost of capital is the sum of these three parts. So these three components are part and parcel to calculate the total cost. Yeah, total cost. Total cost. Total cost of capital here, IPK plus here is the interest rate, yeah, depreciations, and here is the capital loss. So, for example, here, car rental company, the capital is the cars. Yeah, the capital is the cars. The PK, suppose the PK is 10,000, and the interest rate, for example, here, yeah, the interest rate is 0.1, depreciation is 0.2, for example, and delta PK of a K here is 0.06. Yeah, here. Yeah. And then interest cost, this one, depreciation cost here, capital loss here. So how much the total cost? So you just calculating through this formula, yeah, and you got 2,400, the total cost. Any questions, Rian, under this one, or any friends? Any comments, please?
Sir, itu sorry, is K is
Yes.
what the mean case? This is
Sorry?
the formula nominal cost of the capital. Itu K-nya atau apa ya, Pak?
K. The K here is the capital. The small k is the capital. The small k. You mean the small k here? Yeah, the small k here is the capital. So the PK here is the price of capital. The PK, the price of capital. The I interest rate here, the theta here, or what is alpha here, or theta 0.2. Depreciation, I mean here, depreciation is the delta PK of a PK 0.06. So you just put into the formula and you will get the total cost. Clear or any?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay, most welcome. Okay, the next one. Here is the cost of capital. Yeah. For simplicity, assume here for simplicity, delta PK. Delta PK means additional capital that needed in order to getting the capital. Yeah. So delta PK or for PK here is the additional price, yeah, in order to obtain additional capital. Yeah. So then the nominal cost of capital here equals, yeah, so PK open bracket. So you can just compare the previous one here. This is this, yeah, with still the same one, EPK plus blah 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 here until this one, but here is simplified with the here, yeah, with here, yeah. And then you will get PK here over here equal with the R plus theta. So that the real cost of capital equal with the PK over P, R plus here. Yeah. So here is the real cost according to these modifications. I think we don't need to look for the details. We just look at the last formula. Therefore, the real cost of capital depends positively on. So the real cost of capital, if you have capital, you have money, you have cars, you have machines, you have house, whereby this house is very much valuable for you, is basically depends on the relative price of capital. So the cost of holding cars, the cost of holding money, yeah, the cost of holding asset, yeah, basically depend on the price of asset. How much the price, yeah. And second one is the real interest rate. So you maybe remember we differentiate interest rate into two aspects. The first is nominal interest rate. The second one is the real interest rate. What are the difference? The difference is the real interest rate here is the price of goods, yeah, that has been not dealt with the inflation. The inflation has been taken out. Yeah, the inflation is not calculated within this good or services. So the inflation is not there, real price, not because of inflation. Yeah, and the nominal interest rate, whereby the interest rate that still deal with the inflations. Yeah, and the third one is depreciation rate. Therefore, if you have asset in the future, dear sisters, you have house, you have cars, and you are going to sell this capital or this asset, you need to consider these three things. How much the average price that happening now in regard on the asset that you are going to put sales, interest rate, and depreciation rate. So these three items are part and parcel to develop the price of your asset. Yeah. And next one. So the rental firm's profit rate. So previous one we learned about cost, and now we learn about the firm's profit rate. Yeah. The firm's net investment depends on the profit rate. You see, of course, the investment depends on the profit rate. So if the profit rate here increases, so it means that the investment is profitable, and the way around. And profit rate here actually is the R of a P. R here is rental rate over the P price, minus the price of a P R plus depreciation, or MPK, R per P is MPK, marginal propensity to capital, minus PK of a P, open bracket, R plus depreciation. So if the profit rate here more than zero, yeah, if the profit rate here more than zero, the result here is more than zero, then it's profitable for the firms to increase K. Yeah. So if you calculating your businesses and you found that your profit is positive, so you have justification, dear sisters and brothers, to increase your capital. You can take money from others. You can take a loan, or you can just take some additional money because you are profitable. Yeah. But in contrast, if the profit rate here less than zero, yeah, then the firm increases profit by reducing its capital stocks. Yeah. So if the profit is not positive, yeah, so you have the profit rate. The profit rate is negative. Yeah, not positive, negative. So you need to just release some of the capital stock, meaning that you have to sell some of the stock, such as cars, yeah, or maybe land, or maybe factories, yeah, that owned by this firm, because your firm is no longer profitable. Yeah, your profit rate is negative. It means that your firm is inefficient, not running well. So you need to gradually decrease the amount of capital stocks. Firm reducing K by not replacing is as it depreciates. So why capital stock is reduced? Because this capital also depreciated. The value is diminished. The value is reducing, decreasing. Yeah. So this is the rules, yeah, in regard on the profit rate of the firms. Any question, please? Okay, here's another net investment and gross investment. Yeah. So if you try to understand investment here, we have net and gross. Yeah. We have net and gross. Yeah. So net investment, yeah, is IN small is the function showing how net investment respond to the incentive to invest. And the gross investment here, namely the investment that still added by depreciated capital. So if you have investment, dear sisters and brothers, you need to differentiate whether it is gross or net investment. If net investment, you have already taken out the potential depreciated cost that happen within your asset. Yeah, for example, you have a car, yeah, and you invest by purchasing car. Yeah, when you purchase a car, you actually invest not only net but gross, because every year, every time, the car that you have will be depreciated, and the depreciated will be burdened under your burden, but under your expenses, because you have to go to the workshop, yeah, the car workshop, in order to repair the spare part of the car somehow. So this is the cost. So the net investment has been taking out this potential cost that coming from the depreciated asset or the depreciated capitals. So depreciation here is part of the net or gross. Net means depreciation has been taken out. Yeah, and the gross, you still include the depreciated cost. And here the investment function. Now we go to the investment function. So here's the investment function, dear sisters. Yeah, the vertical here is the interest rate. Yeah, and the horizontal here is investment. I want to ask brother here. I just want to know your perspective. Adisena, are you there, Adisena? Adisena, are you there? Are you standby?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, Adisena. According to your view in regard on this relationship between the R and I, does this graph show positive or negative relationship? Please.
Maybe I think negative, sir.
Negative. Okay,
Yes.
what does it mean by negative? What does it mean by negative? What does it mean by negative?
Maybe the line is down, sir.
Yeah, the line is downward. Yeah, the line shape is a downward sloping. Yeah, so the negative means that if you raise the interest rate by particular percentage, rising from the R1 into R2, so the value of investment will reduce from I1 to the I2, isn't it? So it means that one side increase, one side decrease. So it's negative. If positive, two sides both increases or decreases. Yeah. So let me just read here. An increase in R here from R1 to the R2 rises the cost of capital.
Okay.
Yeah, because you increase the R that I mentioned before. The cost of capital, one of the factors that determine the cost of capital is interest rate. Yeah, so the interest rate increases, the cost of capital automatically increases. Yeah, so and the second one, if the cost of capital increase, automatically your expenses, your cost will be higher than before. Yeah, because you have to pay more interest rate in case you are borrowing money from the rental firms. Yeah, so it will reduces the interest rate, the profit rate. Yeah, by assuming that your income does not change. Yeah, by assuming that your income, your revenues does not much change, and because your profit rate decreases and your expenses also increases. Yeah, so you are as entrepreneurs, Adisana, I think you are thinking to reduce the investment value because you think that the investment activities that you're conducting right now basically given not profitable return, isn't it? So in the end, the investment will be decreasing. Yeah, so the transmission the logical transmission from the R to the I is through cost of the capital. Yeah.
Oh.
Increase. Yes, please. You have any question, please?
If the line is down red, so we not get the profit, sir. If the line is negative.
Yeah, so not getting profit, but the profit is reduced. Yeah, the profit is reduced because you should pay more due to the interest rate increasing. Yeah, so interest rate here basically, Adi and friend, is the cost. The cost. You remember from the previous slide that the cost of capital is composed through the three components. The first is the cost of capital, interest rate, and the third one is depreciation. So here, because of the interest rate increased, so the cost of capital increased. Cost of capital increase, so your profit rate will be reduced by assuming that the income that you got does not change. Yeah. So by reducing the profit rate, it means that the income of the entrepreneurs will be decreasing, so that the willing of the entrepreneurs to invest also maybe that much higher than previous conditions. The logical transmission at this end. Let me just move look a bit here. Yeah. So here the investment functions. So from this investment function, you can sum up that the relationship between the R and I is negatively sloped. Yeah, negatively sloped, negatively relationship. So from this one, the I here shift to the right, from the black one into the blue one. Yeah, but assuming here the R is not changed. Yeah, the interest rate does not change. So what happens? Because the interest rate does not change, but the demand here, the investment increased, shift, so the I will move to the right side. Yeah. If I read an increase in the MPK, marginal propensity to capital, or decrease in the price of capital. So the price of capital or the cost of capital decreased. Yeah. So ability to invest, willingness to invest is increased. So because the willingness of invest increased, so the profit would be increasing, because the interest rate here is no longer changing, yeah, constant. So shift I curve to the right here, yeah. Next one, taxes and investment. So the two of the most important taxes affecting investment is corporate income taxes and investment tax credit. So you see, sisters and brothers, so if you are acting as the entrepreneurs and you're running firms, when you are going to, if you are running firms or companies, so every income that you got from economic activities, so it will be taxed according to the government rules. Yeah. So for sure, the tax that imposed by the government here is the two most important aspect that will reduce the willingness of the people to invest, because the higher tax that the people would pay, so it will make the less ability of you to generate income. For example, the simple examples. Brother Adisena here, yeah, is the employer, for example, and every month, brother Adisena here is imposed tax %, yeah, against the income. So it means that every month Brother Adisena must pay the tax 10% times 1,000. So 100. 100 must be given as tax, isn't it? So now Brother Adisena here only has 900. Yeah, because you have already been given as a tax for 100. So you in your hand right now, you only have 900. So with this 900, yeah, you are going to invest. For example, you are purchasing gold. Yeah, you are purchasing gold, and the price of gold, for example, 1 gram is 1,000. For example, 1 gram, for example, 1,000. So what happens now if you have paid a tax? You only can purchase gold less than 1 gram, isn't it? But if you are not paying tax, you are not taxed, you can have 1 gram of gold. So what does it mean? It means that the tax that you pay will decrease the ability of you to own capital stocks, the capital investment, isn't it? So this is the meaning of the corporate income tax. And the second one is investment tax credit. Yeah. So for example, Adisena also here as the manager of investment in the biggest companies, in the big companies. Yeah. And also you are going to expand, yeah, you expand the productions. But unfortunately, you don't have enough money. So you need to take some loan to the banks or rental firms. So if you take a loan, yeah, so you should also pay a tax. Yeah, you should pay a tax against the credit that you got from the rental firms. So it means that the money that you get from the credit from the credit is not that much according to the the money that you will from the beginning. So you want to take a credit 1,000 because you are imposed by investment tax credit. You only maybe be given 900. Yeah. So the value that you own, the value that you get due to investment tax credit will be much less than used by investment tax credit. So these are the two important taxes affecting investment. Yeah. So here is the corporate income tax. I think you can just later on read by your own. Yeah. Here. Yeah. And here is the investment tax credit. Yeah. So reduces a firm's taxes by a certain amount for each dollar is spent on capital, because you have to pay the tax from the credit that you approach to the banks or the rental firms. Yeah. Okay, so this one is the Tobin Q theory. So related with the investment willing. Yeah. So here the Tobin Q. So Tobin Q here tries to compare between the market value and replacement cost. Yeah. So the numerator here, the numerator means pembilang. Yeah, this one. Market value of installed capital means the stock market value of the economics capital stocks. The value of the stock. Yeah, the value of the stock. And denominator here is the actual cost to replace the capital goods that were purchased when the stock was issued. So if you the actual cost to replace the capital goods that were purchased when the stock was issued. So if the stock was issued by the companies, yeah, you have to spend another cost. Yeah, you have to spend and spend. You have expenditures. Yeah, so the cost that you have will be higher, yeah, than before once the stock was issued. So by taking these comparisons, you can just see that the Q is more than one. The firms buy more capital to raise the market value of their firms. So if you compare and got key more than one, please buy more capital of this firm, because this firm is efficient. The market value is more compared to the replacement cost. The benefit is getting higher, is bigger compared to the cost. And conversely, if the Q here less than one, the firm do not replace capital as it wears out. It means the firm is getting lost, or the cost is higher compared to the benefits. Yeah, Tobin Q theory. Okay, here is the relation between the Q theory and the neoclassical theory described above. Yeah. If I can just simplify the explanations, so the relationship here try to compare between the MPK, marginal propensity to capital, and the cost of capital. Yeah. So the marginal propensity to capital means you are willing to get additional capital. You're willing to purchase additional capital, yeah, compared to the cost of capital itself. So if your willing is higher compared to the cost of capital, it means that you have the rational expectation in the future that this firm is profitable. For example, you are going to purchase more stocks, yeah, in particular firms, yeah, because you have future expectations that these firms will be benefited in the future. It does mean that the APK of this firm or this firm is productive and feel profitable is more than the cost of the stock itself. So the cost that you bear right now is go beyond the future expectation of profit that we will get in the future. It means that it is profitable. Yeah. Therefore, if the MPK is wise, it will drive up the stock market values because it will driven by the expectations, your future expectation about the market values, about the stock values. It implies that the high value of key, the Tobin Q will be positive. Yeah. And the way around, if the MPK is less than the cost of capital, it means the cost of the stock actually is not profitable. The stock is going to be lower, yeah, and not profitable at all. And the future is not so bright, so the Q is low. So the MPK here can be the proxy of the benefit, and the cost of capital is the proxy of the cost. Yeah. Okay, the next one. I'm getting tired now. Could you please read, brother Madiba? Madiba, you there, Madiba?
Yes, I'm here.
Glad to hear yours. Glad to see and get you in this discussion, Madiba.
Sure. I'm happy.
Okay, sorry for disturbing your time. Could you please just read the slide, Madiba? The stock market and GDP.
Yeah, okay. The stock market and GDP. Why one might expect a relationship between the stock market and GDP.
Yeah.
One, a wave of pessimism about future profitability of capital will cause stock price to fall, will cause Tobin's Q to fall, shift the investment funds on down, cause a negative aggregate demand shock.
Okay, so if I can't repeat what Madiba says right now, just now, is the stock market here and GDP has close relationship. Yeah, and this close relationship is connected through the rational expectation of the people. Yeah. So rational expectation here is related to the pessimism or optimism. Yeah. For example, here, in one case, not optimism but pessimism. A wave of pessimism about the future profitability of capital, the profitability of the particular stock in the future. So it means that the people is not willing to hold this capital. So it does mean that the supply of capital will be higher compared to demand of the capital. because you're not willing to hold this capital. The supply is greater compared to the demand. So it means supply higher compared to demand, the price is tend to fall. And cost Tobin Q to fall because the market value will be going down. And eventually it will shift the investment function down. So the investment function will be shift to the left. Yeah, to the not to the right, but shift to the left. And because of the investment function left to the left, shift to the left, and investment is part and parcel with the GDP. If you remember, GDP equal to C plus I plus G plus X plus NX, you see? So once the investment going down, it could affect to the decrease of the GDP. Yeah, so it's the connections. And the vice versa here, yeah, if this positive optimism, yeah, one might expect relationship between the stock market and GDP. A fall in stock market, if the stock market falls, would reduce household wealth. Yeah, household wealth will be reduced. See the consumption function down, because if the price of stock market down, if you're willing to sell this stock, of course your money get will be lower than before. And if the money obtained from this sold stock, yeah, will be reduced the consumptions. And this consumption also will cause negative aggregate demand shocks. Yeah. So this the systematic transmissions, cause and effect from the reduction of the stock markets to the GDP. Yeah. And here, the next one, the third cause, a fall in stock prices might reflect bad news about technological progress and long-run economic growth. Yeah, this implies that aggregate supply and full employment output will be expanding more slowly than people had expected. So, in the context of economic growth, because the C and I going down, so the supply is not that much compared to before. Yeah, the supply is not assisted. Yeah, so the full employment output will be far to be achieved. Yeah, so that it will make the GDP sluggish. Yeah, or decreasing. Yeah. And here is the relationship. I think if you in the next time you have data, you can just regress this relationship between stock market and GDP. What are the relationship? Positive or negative or whatever. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Any questions, sisters, brothers, before we continue? Or you have any comments, feedbacks? Have more slides here. Okay. Any discussions? Okay, I continue then. Yeah. Financing constraint here. Yeah. So neoclassical theory assumes firms can borrow to buy capital whenever doing so is profitable. So you can borrow whatever when is regarded profitable. But some firms face financing constraint. The limit on the amount they can borrow. Yeah. So some of the firm is able to borrow, but some of firm cannot be conducted like that. So a recession reduces current profit. A recession is reducing current profit. If future profit expected to be high, it might be worthwhile to continue to invest. But if firm faces financing constraint, the firm might be unable to obtain funds due to the current profit being low. So it means that the role of the rental firm here is quite important. The role of intermediated institutions such as banks is quite important. So if the firm faces financing constraint, maybe it will make the impact very serious. Yeah. So on this regard, maybe the government support is needed. Therefore, the government gives subsidy, the government gives support in terms of financial subsidy and others in order to mitigate the, in order to assist the firm that cannot get financing from the formal institutions. Yeah, so this the conditions. The next one, oh, still very many here. Any questions, sisters? Any response? Or enough? Clear? Okay, we go to the next one about residential investment. Yeah, the flow of new residential investment here depend on the relative price of housing. I think it is very relevant with you that you are going to have house in the future. Yeah. So the flow of the new residential investment depend on the relative price of housing, whereby the pH is price of housing compared to the price of all prices. So the pH of a P is determined by the supply and demand in the market for existing houses. I think you understood. Yeah, the price of housing depend on the demand and supply of houses. Yeah. How residential investment is determined? Yeah. So here is the vertical axis, pH of a P, price of housing, and here is stock of housing capital. Stock of housing capital. Stock of housing capital means the capital to purchase house. Yeah, the capital in order to create or develop house. Yeah. Supply, the supply is vertical. Why is vertical? Because the housing progress is very slow. Yeah, you cannot just the process of developing house takes more than 1 or 2 years. Yeah, so demand here. Yeah, supply and demand for housing determine the equilibrium price of houses. The equilibrium of price of houses then determine residential investment. So the equilibrium here will determine to what extent the investment will be taken out in the society, in the economy. Yeah. And the next one here, yeah. How residential investment is determined? Here the market for housing, the market of housing like this, and the supply of new houses. The new supply of new houses increasing, different. This is supply in the long term, and here is the progress, the supply of the short term, the progress, upward sloping, yeah, upward sloping, positively slope, yeah. And here is the combinations, yeah, the combination right now, yeah. So here is the, for example, the fall in interest rate. Interest rate is fall. If the interest rate falls, the cost of capital will be decreasing. Yeah, cost of capital will be decreasing. Yeah, yeah. The cost of capital will be decreasing. Yeah, and then it will make the ability of the people to buy houses will be increasing. Yeah, so you can see here, because of interest rate falls. Yeah, so the people try to the providers of house, developers will be developing house, will be constructing house because the interest rate falls, and it will make the price of house will be increasing. Yeah, and in the same time here, in the same time, because of investment increasing, investment of house increasing here. Yeah, so it will make the demand also increased. The demand will increase. Why demand increased? Because the people here has much more money because interest rate lower. Yeah, interest rate lower. So the demand here will increase. The demand increase here will make the price of house increase. So if you ask me why the price of house increasing, the price of house increasing because of the interest rate lower, so you can purchase the house in the lower price, and here it will increase the demand to the rise. Yeah, demand to the rise, and this condition will make the price of house gradually increase because your demand increasing. Previously the price here, but because of you increasing the demand, yeah, because you have a lower interest rate, so it will make the price increasing, and the way around, price percent. Why the price of house decreased? Because the interest rate increases. Yeah. If the tax lower, of course the demand will be higher, and vice versa. Yeah. Investment here dealing with the firms, inventory of the firms, and motive of holding inventory is production smoothing. Yeah. So if you have a warehouse done, yeah, warehouse, so somehow the entrepreneurs try to put some inventories inside the warehouse, yeah, in order to smoothing these productions. Such as right now the price of for example, the price of oil, maybe, yeah, the price of oil very low, for example. So the entrepreneurs try to purchase more stock and put it in the warehouse, so that when the stock is finished, so the firm still smoothly running the activities. So production smoothing, yeah. So sales fluctuates, but many firms find it cheaper to produce at a steady rate. So stable. So when sales less than productions, inventories rise. Makes sense. Your sale is one products, your production. So yeah, but when the sales higher than productions, inventories falls. So when the sales more than productions, you should holding more inventories. To produce another productions. Yeah. And the third one is stock out avoidance. So you want to avoid the stock out. Yeah, you want to keep ready the stock inside the warehouse. And the fourth one, work in progress. Yeah. So good not yet completed are counted as part of inventory. Yeah. So need long time process. Yeah. To settle the productions. Yeah. This one you can read by your own, yeah, about the accelerator models, yeah. So accelerator means accelerations, yeah. So the firm can accelerate the process of productions, yeah, here by taking some more inventories. Yeah. Here just the estimations. I think you guys can just read by your own here. Yeah. Okay. Then this is the summary. I think you can just read by your own the summary. Here the summary, and the second summary here. Yeah, you can just read by your own. Yeah. And the last one, finish. Yeah. Okay, any questions, dear sisters? Or
Sir,
clear? Yes, Rian, Davala.
Iqbal, sir.
Oh, Iqbal. Okay, Iqbal, please.
Where we can get the PPT?
Yeah, this PPT is basically in the form of a book. Yeah, so I guess that you can just refer to the recorded video. Iqbal. I think the recorded video here capturing all of these slides, and the rest you can refer to the book that we have already put in the my class. Iqbal, is it okay for you?
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you,
can
sir.
just look through the recorded video. Yeah, when you need some clarifications, you can just look back to the book that has been uploaded in the web in the my class. Yeah, Iqbal.
Okay, sir. Thank
So
you,
this
sir.
not only the way how we communicate. Yeah, so not the only one sources. Yeah, to understand this materials. Okay, dear sisters and brothers, thank you again for your attendance. If you have some questions and other inquiry, please put in the discussion forum in my class, or you just personally text myself. Okay, any other question before we end the discussion, dear sisters, brothers? Enough? Okay, if enough, I guess we can start. We can end these sessions. Don't forget to always check the attendance, and then please ensure that you conduct the assignment and others based on the question in the my class. And for your information as well, I do invite you to come to the campus on the third week of March, but this is not compulsory. Particularly for those who have been in the Jogja. Yeah, so we'll conduct just simple meet up. Yeah, I want to just share with you, and you can discuss with us. And the one who cannot attend, we will provide online also. Yeah, so everybody can join, even though you are not in the Jogja. And the last one for the exchange programs, please do pay attention to the announcement that has been given in the groups. If you're interested, please identify yourself and inform us whether you need some assistance. And the exchange program that you see in the groups is offline, inshallah, offline exchange. So you can just refer to the announcement and link that we have put in the groups. So you can go on September 2021. Yeah. Okay, that's all for a while for your information. Thank you for all attendance and participations. That we end the session by reciting Hamdalah, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin. Thank you. I end. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, most welcome, please.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.